guys, this is Sidnie from the Kaya, and we are hanging out at Surrounded by the Sound Music and Arts Festival with our special guest, Giant Panda Guerilla Dub Squad.
Hey now.
How's it going?
Great, how are you?
Doing pretty good. It's hot out here, but it's a beautiful day. I mean,
well, summer day, September 1st, so...
Yeah, honestly, we're starting...
From, it's almost fall.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the leaves should start changing eventually.
Exactly.
But no, it's been an awesome time. How's the festival been for you guys so far?
I mean, it's been great. We just rolled up to this Jamaican-style villa, and we're chilling out.
I did a long drive.
Yeah, we did have a little drive today, which we're pretty used to at this point. But
becomes the daily
nice place to land for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're happy to have you guys. I can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, tonight's gonna be an absolute blast. Let's go ahead and just start. You know, introduce yourself. Say who you are, what you do.
Well, I'm Chris, and I play the drums.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm James, and I play the bass, and we both sing.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. I like that. Singers that play percussion too. I think that's always really cool. You know, because a lot of people like guitar. You know, people usually think that.
Yeah, James playing bass.
Be very complicated. I don't know. At least in my head, I know that. You know, because you guys are very talented.
You've got the complication station right here, drum and bass.
Yeah, you guys are the
singing
core,
together.
the backbone.
You know. So it is always interesting, and it's interesting to look back at the Jamaican bands and a lot of where reggae came from. It wasn't always necessarily live, but there's different cultures of bands that played instruments like Bob Marley and the Wailers and the Gladiators, but then so much of Jamaican music and reggae is the people that play the instruments make the music, and then there's singers, and singing is just a job, you know, one of the roles that you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to combine it,
the voice
is always
instrument, you know, in itself. What's the band's origin story? Where did you guys come from?
We're from Rochester, New York, and Chris and I grew up in the same town, and I started hanging out with his brother when I was like 9, 10 years old. Met Chris a couple years later. They always were playing music, had drum set and various people in our community. That was kind of the thing to do. If you weren't really into sports or skiing, I don't know, you played music in the basement. Yeah. And you know, through those means, we met various other people around the Rochester area, got turned on to a lot of different kinds of music, and ultimately landed on reggae when we were about, late teenagers. Our guitar player, Dylan Savage, was always in reggae bands around the area that we were kind of going to see and ultimately being influenced by.
Yeah.
And then we linked up, and it's been going ever since then, and people have been coming in, people have been going out. It's sort of developed into an institution, Giant Panda Guerilla Dub Squad from Rochester.
It's like an evolution,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been just on the rise, traveling, and like you said, you're almost always on the road. Do you have, any particularly favorite venues or cities that you guys have been able to visit?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a handful of them. We have a really good time in a bunch of the Northeast big cities. Boston treats us really well. Washington, D.C.'s turned into a really good venue market. Colorado, Florida, California, the classic reggae.
Absolutely.
Being from upstate New York, it's fun to go to those markets that people, tell you, well, they probably love you out in California.
You're like, well, let's just see about that.
Yeah, and to have a good time out there is always, rewarding.
That's awesome. Yeah, it gets to kind of, venture out.
Yeah.
Explore some new places. Where'd the name come from?
What do you got, bro?
Well, we were called the Bomb Squad. It's kind of, we've told the story along many times, and we promised to never tell it again. And we were just going to start making up the story.
Those are always the best, though.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm not going to do that right now. It was, when you're a band, you have to have a name. And
that's what they say.
Well, you do. You have to market yourself because you're in this system. And
brand.
Whether it's capitalism or whatever, you have to brand yourself. And you have to market yourself. And that name is supposed to sort of describe who you are as a band making music. And music, of course, doesn't have words until you apply lyrics to a song or something. So it's very difficult to think of some words that are going to represent you well. And that's how people come up with all these ridiculous band names. We were called the Bomb Squad because we were the bomb crew of kind of people playing music in our area that we, according to us,
Yeah.
you know, it was like the bomb squad of people, of musicians, players.
yeah.
And then we started going to other towns and getting some success around the region. And there was other bands that would have a write-up with our picture, or it would be their picture and our write-up, because it turns out there's like 300 bands called the Bomb Squad.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that idea. So Chris's brother Matt was reading a book. Tom Robbins is the author. It's called Another Roadside Attraction. And in the book there's a band called the Giant Panda Gypsy Blues Band. And Matt was talking to us about that and telling us about how we should be the Giant Panda something something. And we have been going around and doing guerrilla style shows at festivals where we wanted to be at the festival, but we weren't booked at the festival. So we wanted to be seeing the music like at Bonnaroo and places like that. So we would roll up with all our gear and set up and play for like 8 to 10 hours. Met a lot of friends that way. Made a lot of like coalitions over the years that would kind
absolutely.
of span out over the nation in our travels.
You get to,
And so we were the Guerrilla Dub Squad, you know. So that's where the name came from, and it's kind of even developed in significance over the years as you separate the words and kind of think about each aspect of how it applies to us.
Growing and changing, you know, as you kind of grow and change as artists. Do you guys have like a particular like way you like to write music, or like a favorite place you like to go to write?
You know, I think it's just pretty natural. We're always everybody's very creative, and Dylan, Dan, and myself, I think, just as players have always been writing songs and writing parts to songs. And
I think you guys all three go about it pretty differently.
I would say, yeah, but in the end, we're all working privately usually, as like trying to catch the song when it comes, you know, because that's a big thing about songwriting. They're out there, and we're more kind of excavators of the song. So when those songs get brought to the band, doesn't really have too much of a time, rhyme, or reason. Some songs have been ideas for many years, and they come, you know, after they've been sitting around for a long time, and others, it's a rhythm that came about in the van when we were driving to a recent show, and then we work it out and we play it, and it's a tune that we play for years and years.
Yeah, something you're humming in the shower.
Yeah,
you know,
so it's
like,
pretty just like, you know, you got to let the spirit move through you, but you also got to be ready to catch it.
embrace it, you know, can't let, you know, the moment slip away, really.
Smoky Mountains are a great place for
Yeah?
music, though. I would say in the United States, it's very inspirational.
I think there's something about, you know, just being like, you know, experiencing nature and being to connect those things and kind of ground yourself a little bit. There's something really inspiring about that. So what are some of your musical influences, you know, that you guys have had throughout your life?
Nirvana Unplugged.
Yep, big Nirvana fans.
Solid.
Big fans of the short, simple song, you know, any kind of music that was doing that, including what seemed to be the case with reggae, which is a genre that, without even knowing it, turned out we were all listening to kind of the longest, or, you know, a lot of us, because you got that Bob Marley CD when you were 11, and then, you know, you heard other kind of Sublime do versions of classic reggae that you didn't even know was classic reggae. And
James and I both grew up on Paul Simon and the
lots
Beatles.
of Paul Simon, yeah. And then, once you dive into the reggae pool, it's deep, you know, the ocean, I should say.
You really have to swim
galaxy.
through it.
Yeah, you could never. I don't know if this still applies with hip hop and digital and everything, but there was more reggae produced and printed on vinyl in the 70s than any other genre of music ever. So you couldn't live your whole life and listen to all that music. It's too much time.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of diversity in that. And then when you start to source that back to like Africa, and you're like, oh, there's this other continent where the origin of this music comes from that does all those things that you love about reggae in all of these different ways. And so I think when we started to find out about that, had pretty significant influence in the way that we thought about music. And Two Bob Crew out of Asheville, North Carolina was one of the first like non-West African groups that we saw people playing this music in a very respectful, authentic way that you knew that the people in Mali that made that music, the highest order of those musicians, which is a very respected musical tradition.
Yeah, they're
respected
passionate,
those
you
guys
know.
and wanted to work with those guys. So I think we started getting into the Africa stuff, and anything sourced from Africa is pretty interesting
Yeah.
to me right now.
Yeah, it's, you know, the culture, you know, it's very expansive,
Yeah.
you know, on the different sides of reggae music, you know, because you've got your roots and then you've got your kind of ska, you know, there's so many, like, there's a spectrum of, you know, different styles and variations.
Yeah, two other, the Wood Brothers is a band that we all listen to all the time, and we still have that, a good American tune, I think, blows us all away. And we're always trying to write something like that. And, you know, we're fans of Medeski Martin Wood, which is a totally different kind of music than the Wood Brothers. And that's how, but still fans of both bands. And Chris said at one point that he's very influenced his drumming by DJ Shadow, which is like something we wouldn't have thought about.
Yeah.
And when you think about what drummer influenced you,
Yeah,
well,
like-
DJ
Yeah.
Shadow actually.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, there's just so much, you know, music and so many, you know, artists they're creating every single day. So every day you find new songs and you find new ways to get inspired. You guys have, you know, been traveling a lot. Do you have any crazy stories or anything? Any like tour memories or?
I got this. Okay, we showed up to this hotel at like 2 in the morning, and I was already out of smokes, okay? And I really wanted one.
Yeah,
And
the desperate out now.
we walk into the lobby.
Don't smoke, kids.
Yeah, don't smoke, obviously. We walk into the lobby, and there's this super exuberant dude, and he's drunk for sure. And I'm like about to go ask him for a smoke, and he's like, "Hey man, do you have a smoke?" And I'm like, "No, I was definitely just gonna ask you for one." And he's like, "You know what? Here's $20. Let's go to the gas station and get cigarettes for me and for you." And I was like, "Well, we're definitely not getting in the car together.
Yeah, right.
But I'll go get some smokes with your money." Like, there's literally, he's like, "There's a gas station right there." I was like, "Dude, I got this." He's like, "Cool, keep the change." I'm like, "This is
Wow, it's almost
intriguing."
a dream come true.
Yeah, exactly. I go get us smokes, come back. Dude's got like pizza. He's like, "Have some pizza." Okay. Next morning, we're standing in the lobby, like waiting to check out, just waiting for everyone to get together to go to the van. And this dude walks by me, says like some weird, like chauvinisty thing to the girl behind the desk, and like she looked at me and was like, and so was I. And like 30 seconds goes by, and then we just hear like grown man scream. And I like run out, and this dude's like pinned on the ground by like undercover detectives. Total sting.
Big stick.
Like big sting.
Like they've been tracking this guy for
Like
a while.
the 20 I used was like totally
Yeah,
marked police money.
Dude.
Like I like literally run back in. I'm like, "Yo, that dude that just did that weird shit is on the ground right now."
You know, the detectives couldn't make what his role was.
Yeah,
Right,
they were
like,
like,
you have no
"We got a
alibi,
rogue."
like-
You got a kid.
Yeah, the rogue weird kid looking
$20.
for
Says he's
cigarettes.
just here for cigarettes,
Yeah,
but
exactly. I was like, "Holy
he's got
bro."
the dirty money.
It was wild. It was really something.
Wow.
Yeah, saw like not only saw, yeah, like was like part of it. Like it was very bizarre.
Wow.
We've kind of seen it all.
Yeah, we've
I
seen
mean,
it all.
once you go to so many
America's
places,
a crazy, crazy place.
there is just, you know, certain types of people all over that
Big,
you just,
huge, like 40-person brawls, like in like St. Petersburg, Florida,
Ooh.
right?
I feel like those
with
folks
like
have
one
a
guy
happy
facing
ending.
off. It was crazy.
It's like, go.
All sorts of vehicles on fire and
Sure.
unfortunate carnage.
Never a dull moment then, you know.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Rarely. You're living a dangerous lifestyle out there.
Yes, so
real.
trying to stay safe.
Right? So when you guys aren't, you know, touring and playing music, what are you guys doing on your off time?
Trying to keep our children safe. Yeah, James and I are both parents of young
Dads.
children, so we're both daddying, legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How is it, you know, juggling, you know, that lifestyle of being gone and having to, you know, just be bouncing around a lot?
totally insane.
Yeah.
Moment to moment survivable, but like impossible.
Yeah, you know, so often you gotta like push
difficult.
yourself, be like, all right,
I mean,
we're doing good.
it's a huge team effort, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, we're not out saving the world per se, but it means everything to us, and it's I don't know if like confidence boost or like validation that so many people in our families that love us are willing to support,
to help,
come together,
Yeah.
so that they're proud of us, you know.
Yeah.
And our,
See the hard
where
work.
we're from, you know, people are proud of what we do and that we represent positivity going around and representing our families and where we're from. So.
Yeah, family and friends is the most important.
You know,
we're
not saving the world, but we are trying to.
Hey, one step at a time.
Yeah.
You know, every little bit counts. I think it's like a group effort, like you said.
Yeah, you know
Life's
what's crazy?
one big collaboration.
We went from being like the new people on the scene to veterans, like overnight. Like people will say, "Wow, you guys have been around forever and you're on the road all the time." And we still feel like I think we're pretty like fresh at this stuff, like in our lives, especially considering the history of music. But it's interesting to start to recognize that all of the people playing this reggae music in North America have had an effect on like another sort of generation. We still think of ourselves as young guys, but we're clearly seeing at these festivals that there's people that are, you know, 20 years younger than us.
Each year, yeah,
that are
there's
there,
a new
that are
round of people.
The reggae movement in this country is growing, and like the message with it is growing, and you know, positivity, truth and rights, justice, all that is to go to all these different pockets of the country and see that there's new young people being turned on to it is really cool.
I mean, yeah, that's what is so just cool about music, because you make that mark, you know, in the world, and that's what you can kind of leave, you know, for
people take it home
to
with
share and enjoy, and they can interpret it their own way. You know, their song can mean, you know, so many different, you know, things to so many different people.
And it often does. Like people who we disagree with on like just about everything up and down about life love our music, and that blows our mind.
Right? Well, let's see. What's this upcoming year looking like for you guys? What do you guys got? What are you looking forward to? What are you guys pushing for?
I got some family stuff going on, so I'm going to be kicking it in Indiana. We're taking some time off. We're playing, very much looking forward to a big New Year's show that we always have, a big New Year's party in Rochester. That's going to be really
always
fun.
the best way to ring in the new year.
Yeah, so that'll be a nice return after this run. We're going on tour with one of our heroes, Clinton Farron, in a couple of days.
Yes.
I say that he's one of our heroes because he was one of the original foundation reggae makers in Jamaica, playing in a band called the Gladiators, and then he continued to just keep making unbelievable music. And
to this day.
Yeah, like his most recent album, which came out maybe 2 years ago, is my favorite of his stuff. So we're gonna meet up with him and get to see him every night for a while. So
that's exciting.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, I feel like that could be a really cool, like, just surreal moment, just to be able
history,
to,
for sure.
you know, be a part of this moment in time of, you know, reggae music.
Yeah, and he inspired by him. It's called the Roots to Branches tour, because he kind of talks about, he's like, you know, we're the roots, but y'all are the branches growing out of the reggae tree, if you will, you know, and Roots of a Rebellion's going to be on the tour, the movement's going to be on the tour, and we've all known each other very organically through doing this music, you know, endeavor, and it's all the same boat, you know.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Let everyone know all the social media, you know, things that you got going on, so everyone can stay up to date with y'all.
We are Giant Panda Dub on most things, like Instagram and Facebook, but Twitter, and our website is livepanda.com.
Livepanda.com. That is very important, very important. So, go ahead. Gonna put all the links and all the you know, description in the description below, so you guys go follow them. Please stay up to date with everything they've got going on. Please continue to support each other and the reggae community, because we, you know, are having a wonderful time here, especially with the family it's surrounded. And it's moments like this where we can take a moment to reflect and be thankful and grateful for, you know, this life that we got.
Yeah, we're living in peace right here. This is really
this is an oasis.
Fortunate situation.
Quite literally. So yes, thank you guys. We're gonna be hanging out at Surrounded all weekend. Kaya out.
Too many trying, never surviving. Do you realize we're working together? Do you realize we're working together? What